If we haven't met before, I'm Fleshay,
I'm Jessica.
and we are girlfriends of a certain age. So we are all about empowering women over 50 to really uncover what and who they are. And we're doing that by building community. We're doing that by going live every week. And we are doing that by giving everyone, especially you, permission to hit the reset button in your life. If things are not quite going to plan, or you suddenly find yourself in this phase of like, what is going on? Who am I? What is this body? What am I meant to do? What is happening? We want to hear from you. So today, Jessica Neighbor is going to share with us how she's hitting the reset button, what her reboot is looking like at this stage of midlife. And I want you to be listening for yourself. How might this be relating to you and what you're supposed to be stepping into at this incredible stage of life? So, Jessica, I would love to hear a little bit about where are you at like today? Also, where are you at in uncovering all of your life purpose and what you're supposed to be doing here?
Oh my gosh, I love that. Well, hi. I am today feeling pretty good. I have like a sprained ankle. I'm sure a lot of us can relate to like the lovely aches and pains that we start to feel at this age, right? And like the having to slow you down. So I've been having to do that. It's been a really good exercise in feeling frustrated by the limitations of our bodies at times. And then really working through how do we accept that? How do we roll with that? So, fun fact today, I got my two teenage boys who are out for the summer to go walk my energetic dog. And then I took my little hobbly, slow stroll, and we were all happy for it. So, it's like, I feel like the even the morning I just experienced kind of encompasses what we're doing at this age, right? Where we're like pivoting. Well, I thought this was going to happen, and now this is happening, and just trying to roll with it. Really, that's like what I'm personally feeling like at this moment.
Makes so much sense. And even you saying that, I know I can so relate to that. And I know so many girlfriends can too. So let us know in the comments. What's your real life right now? What's the thing happening for you? And maybe is there something in your life like Jessica's got this ankle business that she's taking care of? Is there something happening in your life that's slowing you down right now? Because I think that's something to look at too. Because it doesn't it give you a whole new appreciation for your body and how you use your energy?
Oh my gosh. Total functionality. Like when you aren't fully functioning, you just recognize that like health is wealth, right? That's what you want at the end of the day for yourself. And yet, I think as we approach aging, things are going to shift, things are going to change. And like how do we navigate that? So one thing when we were, talking about doing this episode and in preparation for it, one thing I thought about that has been an experiment of mine for a few years now, and you know this, is going gray naturally. And kind of yes. Oh, the silver sparkles are sparkling. So I just took this on. I just got fed up with the dye bottle, and no judgment. We all do our own thing with our hair. I am not here to preach and, tell anyone anything. But for me, the experience of like aging out loud has been, I think, a really good part about this, transformation in midlife, because it's like what is it like to actually look your age, right? The compliment we hear so often people give each other is, oh my god, you don't look your age, right? And that's supposed to be really flattering, and it's like, what if it was kind of cool to look like a 51-year-old who's just literally comfortable in their skin, okay with the grays, and just like trying to rock it. So I feel like that was one exercise that for the last few years I started doing. And in doing it, really observing and finding so interesting people's reactions to it. I know we've done a podcast episode all about the hair dye in previous seasons, but it's just like, to me, that was one of the very first steps I did in this like kind of transformation at this age. And I don't know, it's the gift that keeps on giving, Fleshay. It's like some days I look at myself and I'm like, who is this gray haired woman? Other days I look at myself and I'm like, I'm rocking it. And so it's just like the kind of aging process, and I'm really enjoying it. It's like a fascinating study to see what how people react and just like how you feel about yourself day to day.
Absolutely. It makes so much sense. Right. And like you're saying, day to day, because depending on who we're with or how we feel or how we slept or what our hormones are doing today, we might be relating to all those things very differently. But it's been such a joy for me to see you just be yourself. I just
Mm,
love all of you and
mhm,
who you are and how you're becoming, and even just watching the choices that you're making. And you've given me so much permission to do the same. And I'm really
mm.
grateful to you for that. And I think that this is so much of what you and I have been calling in. Like, how do we do this out loud? How do we do it and flip the script?
Yeah.
Right? That getting older for us, we're choosing for it to mean that we're getting better.
Yes. That's right.
Mhm.
That's right. We're getting better, which doesn't mean we're denying our aging process. We're like actually trying to embrace it and be real about it, right? So it's also not sugarcoating it. It can be hard, right? Me and my ankle are having a little frustration zone right now. And yet that's what it is. So yeah, it's kind of like riding the wave of this really interesting midlife and trying to make the best of it. And
Absolutely.
the,
Well, I'm so curious to know. I mean, you and I are both entrepreneurs and have been for a hot minute now.
yes.
How is this impacting your work?
Yeah, well, it's really taken a beautiful shift as well. So I've been a voice coach for, oh my gosh, over 20 years, working at the beginning with performers and singers like myself. I was a performer and still continue to be. And then this like growing voice inside of me was like, what do you want to say, Jess? And how can you support other women through this very stage of life to say what they want to say? So I've been doing more public speaking coaching for women and also started a Substack called Love Your Voice, wrote a workbook called Love Your Voice, because a theme that I kept hearing from women when I would tell them I'm a public speaking coach is, oh, I hate my voice. Oh, I can't stand my voice. Oh, whenever I hear recording, I cringe. And I was like, this is really interesting. And this almost feels like it's connected to the way we talk about our bodies and our identity. And if we're walking around in a voice that we can't fully embrace, how does that make us feel about our communication? Right? How does that make us feel when we're going to speak up at work or when we're going to set a boundary at home? And so it's just been a really wonderful opportunity to work with women and to kind of pull back the layers of how they can be more fully seen and heard. And what I'm learning through my work, Flashay, time and time again, is that we really want to be understood. There's just such a necessity as a human being to be understood, and we really want to feel connected,
Yes.
right? And like we can do that in one way through the way we use our voice, right? We can be clear and work on some of the nut and bolt parts about how to be understood by, our diction and by being clear and by using lots of great different strategies. But we also want to feel a connection. And so a lot of that starts with ourselves, not our audience, right? You hear in public speaking, so many people go, oh my God, the audience is looking at me and I'm freaking out about them. That is all a projection of what we're feeling inside. So if we can get ourselves in a good space to accept our voice, to, dare I say it, love our voice, then when we go out there and share it, whether it's, in the boardroom or in the bedroom for that matter, we're able to do it in a really genuine way that feels really connected to ourselves, right?
That's
And
so
so
beautiful.
thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So just like unpacking a lot, and the workbook Love Your Voice, which is available on Amazon, really does give you an opportunity to heal. So we talk about voice scars, right? These early situations in our lives. And I know, Flashay, you and I discussed some of yours, but the idea that we were told something or we felt some way about our voice. And a lot of like super badass professional women are still carrying that old belief around with them. And that still impacts the way they communicate in their daily life.
Well, I mean, I'll just be vulnerable and say you have helped me immensely
Mm.
become more comfortable my first thing I want to say is in my body because it's connected to the voice.
Yeah.
Somehow, now that I've gotten more confident, I've got more skills, I'm not afraid to go live like this anymore. You saw me just chewing on my nails, just completely afraid to get out there. And now all of a sudden I'm not. Now I'm like, let's do it every week. And now we are.
Right.
And so you have taught me so much, and it has been such a healing journey to be coached by you, to be loved, to be seen, to be supported by you with these tools.
Mm.
Um, and so I want to sort of pull on that thread a little bit because,
Mhm.
now
Yeah.
that I'm being vulnerable, but like one of the things that you taught me was just in the hearing of my voice and in the healing of that old story, the people and the places that taught me or that I internalized, I've got to be quiet. I can't express myself. I can't do that. And realizing how completely it wasn't just about getting up and speaking, it was related to this old story. And you took me on that journey and it was challenging, but because I trusted you so much and you've been such a loving and supportive guide, I've been
Mm.
able to get there, and I owe you so much gratitude for that.
Well, thank you. That means so much coming from you because you're my dear friend, and I really think you're so powerful. You're such a healer. You're all of these incredible things to me. And the fact that there was this like barrier for you around your communication and that I'm able to like help, guide you through that is like so meaningful to me. I mean, that is literally what I'm here to do. I just want to help women feel more fully seen and heard so that they can make a positive change in the world. Right. And so, can we do that through our lives here on Substack? Can we do that through our writing? Can we do that when we're working or through our political activism or just in our relationships? Right. All of these little positive things we can do and make an impact with our voice are going to help so much. And you were so brave, Lachey. I remember like I had you like looking at your family and kind of like some of the dynamics and whose voice you enjoyed and whose voice you were almost afraid to sound like and all these stories that we hold inside of ourselves that just I find a lot of us don't ever reflect on, right? Like who sits around thinking about their voice and like how what forces shaped it. It's like it's just this kind of utilitarian thing we use all the time, and yet it's really we're using it all the time. So we may as well like develop a really good relationship with it.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think that's one of the gifts of this stage of life, of hitting this stage, what you and I are calling midlife, that hitting our 50s, the
Yeah.
process of menopause, of our changing bodies, even the way hormones impact the way our voices sound as we get older. There's been such a journey of acceptance and appreciation
Yeah.
and ownership.
Yes.
Um, I know that so many women, I mean, countless women that you and I are talking to and that you and I are supporting,
Yeah.
are wondering why they feel a little bit off at this stage of life. And
Mm.
you have talked about the resets you're doing personally and
Yeah.
professionally. What advice or wisdom would you share with a woman who is feeling a little bit befuddled about her life at this stage? Like, I've always been doing this work. It doesn't feel meaningful anymore. I have this idea. What would you say to a woman who is maybe in her 50s and wondering what else there is out there for her?
I love that. I mean, I think a really great first step is to just explore your relationship with yourself. And, since we're talking about the voice, how do you feel about how you speak in general? And, either using a workbook like mine or just journaling or talking with people about it is going to open up so many ideas. Also, a lot of women were impacted by what their parents said, what their teachers said, how their cultures viewed them. We can shed some of that old skin because, frankly, we're doing it at this age, anyways. Right. And I don't think 10 or 20 years ago, I would have felt like confident enough to work with about public speaking. And now I'm like, oh no, I know some things. I want us to do this together. And I think this stage of life when we are sort of getting more like reflective and what we want from the rest of our lives is a such a perfect time to not be afraid to go inward and do some healing. And then the next step I would say after you can do some of that is to challenge the kind of status quo and the assumptions that we have, especially around women this age, and in particular, like how we communicate, right? A lot of women at every level struggle with imposter syndrome. And it's amazing. Like, I read this great book. I want to mention it because I want every girlfriend to read it. It's called The Confidence Code by Katie Kay and Claire Shipman. And they go around interviewing all of these women, celebrities, politicians, you name it. And they all have that imposter syndrome. And so, what that's telling us is that there is a system that we are on some level, we are aware that it wasn't built for us.
Mm.
So, why are we beating our heads against the wall trying to fit into a system that was never built for us? What we're going to do instead is we are going to show up as our authentic selves and present the way we want to and educate those people around us about our system, our way to do things. This is a time to reinvent ourselves, not continue to try to fit in, right? And then there's really fun strategies to help do that. Cause I know a lot of women will be like, okay, that sounds amazing. Yes, please. How the hoo-ha do I do that, Jessica? Right. And there's a few really cool strategies that you can do. One is like feeling like you're not only speaking for yourself, but you're speaking on behalf of someone else. It could
Mm.
be one individual, or it could even be like a community. Because I think women often, I don't want to generalize all of us, but we're very communal, right? We want to be helping and speaking on behalf of something. So having that thing in mind really helps. Another really cool strategy is thinking about if you're saying something that could be really truly helping someone on this day and maybe even saving someone, the idea that when we're in go mode, we don't have time to second guess ourselves and question ourselves and get all in our head. A scenario is like you're trying to save someone's life, right? You're like going to throw them the life preserver and say, here, grab it. You're not going to like question how you should say it. A lot of people in, speaking when they're talking, if you can kind of go into go mode, you get out of your way a little bit because it's not about you, is it? It's
It's not
more,
about me.
it's not about you. And isn't that hard though, Felicia? Because you're the one doing the communicating, but it's actually not about you. Isn't that funny?
Well, exactly. I mean, and to get that distance, to get that space from that concept is sort of mind-blowing. And I know you and I have talked about this a lot, how it seems like when the estrogen goes down, all the caretaking of others seems to disappear.
Yes.
And I think a lot of us too, when we stop doing that, we can start thinking about, well, what do I want to use my energy for? And then you add that to what you just said about how it's not really about us, even some of the things we're saying, especially for helping someone else.
Right.
It seems like the sky could be the limit for women at this stage of life. And we see it. We see it a lot. Women of a certain age suddenly making it, hitting it big and looking like an overnight success, right?
Right. And that could mean so many things for different people, right? It could mean just finally showing up for themselves. But it breaks my heart when I talk especially with some of my clients about how they have let opportunities pass them by because
Mm.
they do not feel comfortable using their voice. They are stuck and they just almost feel like they're trapped, right? And so how unlimited, I love the word you used, but limitless would it feel to really be comfortable in your skin, right? And that's really what we're talking about, right? And I'm talking about that specifically with your voice. Lachey, you and I on Girlfriends of a Certain Age talk about that just in ourselves. Like, we want to be comfortable with all this change, and that's not always easy. I can have my days where I'm like, this roller coaster is crazy. My hormones are crazy. I don't know what to think right now. But coming back to that inner compass and that voice that's both inside you and the one you're using in your day to day life, and just getting fully behind it,
Mm.
dropping our shit and getting behind ourselves. We are going to feel a momentum. We are going to feel a flow that is unstoppable.
Damn, girl. Okay.
It truly is. It truly is. Right. And I don't mean we flip a switch and we're always there.
Right.
Well, but have you experienced those moments where you're like, oh my word, this is just, yes, I'm just here and it's just happening. That's what we want for ourselves. That's what we want for each other. And so I think healing and analyzing how you feel about your voice. I think also definitely just practicing some of the nut and bolt skills about, speaking in front of other people is great. So if you're close to like a Toastmasters, or if you want to come join me in Love Your Voice online public speaking community, we do workshops so that we can build these skills together. And people can also work privately with me if that's more of a space that's going to feel comfortable for you to explore these skills. But getting support, getting help, and like using your muscle, because it's just going to get stronger.
Absolutely. Well, how has Substack helped you to do those things and make those pivots? How has that shown up for you?
Absolutely. It's been beautiful because Substack enabled me to really get super specific about this public speaking for midlife women. And you've been on that journey with me, like really getting very granular about who am I working with? Who do I most want to support? So even though I have a general website, Impact Vocal Coaching, my Substack is allowing me to be very niche. And it's really fun because then the women it's attracting are like a hell yes, right? They're going, oh my goodness, yes, I love this. I love the idea of healing my voice. I love the idea of shedding my skin. I love that I'm going through kind of a transformation, not just in my menopause, but in how I'm speaking out. So it's really attracting the right group of women to be working together. And I've loved the communication I've had on here, be it in chat or be it in the live workshops, yourself included, about just showing up and thinking about how we can grow stronger together. So I actually love the group coaching. I am so passionate about it because there's something very healing about seeing everybody kind of going through the same things together and going, oh, that's so universal. Okay, I'm not the
Yeah.
only one that's getting nervous and scared and all those things.
Absolutely. So tell us specifically the name of your Substack.
Okay, so it's called Love Your Voice. And you can find it here. Search for Love Your Voice under Jessica Neighbor. You can also search for it at the domain because we love that about Substack. They let us have our domain. So mine is www.loveyourvoice.me, M-E. And also, if you want to just check out this like healing journey with your voice scar, you can get my Love Your Voice public speaking workbook for women, which is available on Amazon. If you search Love Your Voice workbook by Jessica Neighbor, you'll be able to easily find that. You can also find it if you head over to the Substack.
And of course, the links are all down below in the description. So it's all there, ladies. I highly recommend you go check out Jessica and be on this journey because, my question to you, our beautiful viewer,
Yeah.
where are you holding yourself back? And could it be related to your voice, how you're communicating, what you're communicating, and getting that clarity? So I think Jessica, I mean, obviously I'm selfishly saying this because she's helped me so much. But I do think that this is a beautiful time of life to explore our communication, our style, how are we getting our needs met? And how something as simple as just speaking the damn truth and letting go of this idea that we have to hold it all in all the time and please others. I think
Mhm.
that's something I have gotten so incredibly strongly. Something a real gift I got from my work with you.
I love that. Yes, the people pleasing, even though it can serve us so well in lots of areas of our life, is going to really block us when it comes time to really speak our mind. So we need to give ourselves permission to speak. And that is so key for us. Absolutely. Oh, well, Felicia, you are one of my favorite clients and girlfriends. And I'm so happy to be on this journey with you. I also love recommending my clients and Love Your Voice, the Love Your Voice community, to go check out your Lumerian Lullaby, because when people are feeling a bit anxious about their presentation or their talk, that is such a beautiful reset to really ground yourselves and get calm. So if you don't know about Felicia and her Lumerian Lullaby, you got to check it out. It helps you feel whole and calm and grounded again. And that's so key for anyone doing public speaking and anyone on planet Earth right now.
Thank you so much, honey. I just love being on this journey with you. Girlfriends, thank you so much for showing up today. Thank you for being here live. Thank you for watching the replay. Let us know your thoughts on this. The story is not complete until we have heard from you. So
Mhm.
come, the links are all down below for all the good stuff that you heard about in this episode. And girls, we will see you this time next week. We love you so much.
I'm feeling inspired to just sing that fabulous song, The Rest is Still Unwritten by Natasha Bedingfield. So here we go.
Yes,
Let's write our own stories, ladies.
absolutely. Absolutely. Till next time, ladies. See you
Mwah.
next time. Bye.
Bye.